Ontario, Canada, an international melting pot of cultures and personalities. Tonight, from the Rogers Center, the Indians and the Blue Jays wrap up this three-game series as the Tribe tries to stay red hot and take 2 out of 3. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning after a day off for us yesterday. The Indians were hard at work, but offensively they were stymied yesterday. Only 1 run and then ended up losing in extra innings. But if they can bounce back and get a win here tonight, they'll get out of here with a series win. And for Cleveland, Rick, I mean, Shane Bieber continues to not only pitch well, but he fills such a huge void at the front end of the starting rotation.
Well, Shane Bieber is the guy you want on the mound tonight because he's been pitching very well in his last 7 starts. 4-1, an ERA of just a hair over 3. And this guy, he won last year in this ballpark, 1 game. He's 1-0 against the Blue Jays in 2 starts, but he's going to try and follow 2 other pitchers that pitched very well in this series. Clevenger gave up 3 runs in his 7 innings, but the offense was played well on Monday. Bauer yesterday, he didn't give up a run. He was as nasty as he's been all year long. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the win, so hopefully Bieber can wind it up.
Well, he's got a tough customer on the other side for Toronto, and a lot of fans here wondered if he would even make this start because his name has been talked about so much with regards to possibly being dealt at the trading deadline.
Well, he very well could go before the deadline, but Stroman's been pitching very well. He's a guy that keeps the ball down. He's very good at ground balls. He's got a sinker. He throws his fastball about as much as his slider. You can see he doesn't give up many home runs, and second in Major League Baseball with 57% of ground ball out. So you got to make him get the ball up. Hopefully he makes a mistake and you can get a home run when you get a guy on base.
Yeah, it was a 1-0 game into the 9th inning last night. Runs could be at a premium once again here this evening. We'll be back with the play-by-play, and we'll check in with Andre Knott, who has some insight on Shane Bieber coming up next. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by Who But WB Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By your Northern Ohio Honda dealers, made in Ohio, Ohio proud. And by Spectrum Mobile. Spectrum Mobile has unlimited talk, text, and data. Save up to 40%. Go to SpectrumMobile.com today. Back here at the Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and a beautiful night for baseball. We've got the lid open up. Lots of blue skies overhead as the Indians and the Jays say farewell for the 2019 season. There are the standings. Wild game with Minnesota last night, beaten by the Yankees 14-12, the final there. The Indians, of course, a disappointing extra inning loss here to Toronto, so they lost another opportunity to cut into that deficit, but still just 3 games back with 62 games left to go in the 2019 season. Let's go downstairs to Andre Knott. Andre, we know Shane Bieber has been a student of the game in terms of learning by watching Corey Kluber in particular, yes. The way he goes about his business. Is that how he handles his emotions, by watching the icy, cool demeanor of Corey Kluber as well?
In the past, yes, but in his last 2 starts, he's dealt with some umpires, some rulings by umpires he didn't agree with, and suddenly he had to deal with his emotions on the mound. He wasn't as happy as he would be in the past with how he handled it, and then he talked about the guy that's starting today. Marcus Stroman's one of the most emotional pitchers you see in baseball, and he talked to me just about how do you control them, but also win.
Throwing each pitch with conviction and really just believing in yourself and, pitching a little bit emotional. And you kind of mentioned earlier, Stroman's going to be on the mound, it's me versus him, and he's one of those guys that pitches emotional as well and definitely uses it to his advantage. So there's positives and negatives, and I think, like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out, but just try not to let the highs get too high, the lows get too low, but also using it to your advantage.
Arch, emotions are an important part of baseball, but they can get the better of you in this game as opposed to some other sports. How do you handle them?
Well, they're going to get the best of you every once in a while. You just got to be consistent. Like he says, never get too high, never get too low. Just try to stay at an even keel. That's what everyday ball players try to do. It's tougher to do for a pitcher because he's only out there once every 5 days. And I think he's doing a heck of a job right now. And he just has to go out there and learn and learn and learn after every start. Let's check out Marcus Stroman, who's our Hyundai starting pitcher for the Jays. Stroman has pitched in 7 games against the Indians, only 6 starts, but this will be his 7th. He hasn't allowed a home run to him yet. So they're going to have to get somebody on, make him get the ball up, and hopefully they might be able to get one out of the ballpark. But he's only 1-1 in his career against the Tribe.
The starting lineup for Terry Francona brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Francisco Lindor leading it off. He's been swinging the bat well in the month of July. Oscar Mercado in the 2-hole, followed by Carlos Santana. Jason Kipnis, Jose Ramirez, Jake Bowers occupy the middle third. And it's Jordan Luplow, Greg Allen, Kevin Plawecki. Plawecki giving Roberto Perez the night off, and Tyler Naquin missing a second straight start after he came out of the game in the series opener.
Check out the defense for the Jays. It's Gurriel in left, Hernandez in center, Grichuk over and right. On the infield, Drury gets the start at third base. Galvis is at short. Sogard at second, Smoke at first. Jansen doing the catching.
Philbin Colberth will call the balls and strikes. He's the crew chief. DJ Rayburn at first. Paul Nauert at second. And Nick Marley down at third. The Indians have won 14 of their last 18 games. They come in at 58-42, as you saw a moment ago on the standings, 3 back of Minnesota. Toronto 39-64, disappointing year. And this could potentially be the last start Marcus Stroman makes in the Blue Jays uniform, as the fastball misses up high, ball 1. There is lots of speculation that Stroman will be dealt by Toronto before the trading deadline. He's under control for another season. They feel like they can get a good package in return. Lindor is thrown out to start the game by Eric Sogard, 1 away. Storylines are brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Make Marcus Stroman get the ball up. See if you can get one in the air and get it out of here. As you alluded to, Rick, not easy to do.
No.
Defense continues to be a strength. See if they can play well in support of Shane Bieber here tonight. Oscar Mercado batting second, steps in.
And we saw the typical Stroman, a sinker, and he had Lindor be able to bounce that ball right into the ground.
You know, the interesting thing to me about the speculation regarding Marcus Stroman and other pitchers, I mean, there's a story, it seems like every other day, about Trevor Bauer as well out there. And it's just that because maybe it has nothing to do with it. Maybe they are unrelated. But I think because this is a new trading system where it's a hard deadline at the end of July, nobody seems to know what to do. Everybody's really playing it close to the vest. They're sitting around the poker table. Nobody's made their first move yet. And I think everybody's waiting to see for that first move, and maybe then we'll get some activity. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a flurry late. But so far, really nothing has happened.
You would think something has to happen.
When you think about the Yankees, they traded for Edwin Encarnacion, and but the A's just got Homer Bailey, but really
nothing major.
Yeah, nothing major.
Well, the Yankees, they could use a starting pitcher too, as everyone talks about.
The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Down goes Mercado. I also think that because of how last night's game played out, and because it was against the Yankees and so much attention is on you when you play the Yankees, let's face it, that's just the way the media operates in this day and age, that for Minnesota, all the talk about them needing bullpen help, it was just further illustrated last night.
Yes, it was. Well, they had an 8-2 lead in that ball game and ended up giving it up. But, you know, that's one game, and that thing, that happens. The Yankees and Chapman, he gave it up. He gave it right back, you know, and normally he's a slam. He'll slam the door on you for the close. But that's one game. Again, they're playing their final game tonight.
Carlos Santana takes pitch outside, 2-0. Carlos Santana had a rough homestand coming out of the All-Star break. Probably a big reason why there's such a wide margin now in his home and road splits. He's a 55-point higher batting average on the road this year than at home.
Yeah, he's been very consistent, both really, up until, like you say, but that was a long homestand coming up off the break, a 10-gamer. And I just have to think fatigue throughout the home run hitting contest, the All-Star game, and the whole 9 yards, and doing it in your home park. He'll get it back together. He's going to have a chance to anyway, at least at home, because after we get off the road trip, we got 4 here. We leave for Kansas City for 4, and then right back home for a 3-team homestand.
Yeah. Yeah, highlighted by the Astros coming in. Santana pops it up. Third baseman Brandon Drury near the bag makes the grab. Indians go in order. The Blue Jays are coming to bat.
Shane Bieber on the mound for the Indians, a Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher, making his 21st start. Shane is 9-3. The Indians have won the last 4 times he's been out on the mound, 3 in which he is 3-0, and he did beat the Blue Jays here last year in his start.
Toronto starting lineup for Charlie Montoyo. Eric Sogard leading it off. Freddie Galvis in the 2-hole. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. bats third. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. batting cleanup. Then it's Justin Smoke, who is homered in back-to-back games. Randall Grichuk, Danny Jansen, Teoscar Hernandez, and Brandon Drury hits ninth. Eric Sogard having a revival here in Toronto. One of the top leadoff batting averages in the American League. 4th overall among leadoff hitters in batting average.
Started the game off on Monday with a base hit.
The only hit he's had so far in the series. The Indians have pitched him tough. Wide of the mark, 1 ball, 2 strikes. In this, the year of the home run, probably no real surprise that Eric Sogard has hit 10 home runs this year after he hit 11 in his previous 584 career games. He goes down swinging to start the game, 1 away.
Let's check out the Indians defense, brought to you by Conrad's. It'll be Allen in left, Mercado in center, Lublo over and right. On the infield, Ramirez and Lindor on the left side, Kipnis and Bowers on the right, with Kevin Plawecki behind the plate.
Now Freddie Galvis. 1 for 9 at the plate in this series. And a ground ball to Jason Kipnis. And there are 2 away. Again, tonight with Jake Bowers playing first base. Just an opportunity where Terry Francona can give Carlos Santana at least a night off his legs.
Last night it was Kipnis, right? DHing.
And it's funny, because we only play games here and in Tampa on turf anymore,
Not much you can say about it where it's going to do any damage to your body.
Right. I mean, if you're obviously, you would think in the case of Toronto and Tampa, or if you're in their division, you're going there 3 times, it might be a different situation. But it was funny. I was talking to Tito the other day about it, and he wasn't making light of the what these guys have to deal with. He said, "You want to talk about playing on turf? How about my day at the old vet, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, places where it was just concrete with a little mat thrown over it. Montreal was brutal."
And it always seemed like when the Indians would come here, they would go straight down to Tampa, and we'd play 6 straight games or 7 games on the turf in a row.
Swing and a miss. Shane Bieber sharp at the outset. Fans a pair of Blue Jays. And we are scoreless after 1 in Toronto.
Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to stream live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for the details.
Jason Kipnis will lead off the second.
Kip had an anniversary on Monday, and he's starting his 1,000th career game at second base tonight. He's the third player in franchise history to start 1,000 games at second. Matt Lajoie and Bobby Avila, the other two.
One ball, one strike. He's been in a good spot, really, for a long time now, Rick. You go back 30 games. He's batted .306, 5 homers, 22 driven in. He scored 19 runs. And it's interesting because of how he's been used in the batting order. 2-1.
Well, he's been in that number 4 hole against right-handers,
yeah,
which is an amazing thing. He's not typically a number 4 hitter, but he's able to hold it down and not, where Tito doesn't want to put some youngster in there and, get him in a slump or something. He knows Kip can handle it mentally.
And he's sandwiched in between the two switch hitters, Santana and Ramirez. And really, it's been interesting because Kip and Hosey really almost at the same time turned their seasons around offensively.
Yeah, and they were hitting back-to-back there for a while. Yeah, Hosey hits 5th. And then you get the left-hander. Kipnis will go down into the 6th hole. Stroman, look at the movement on that pitch. I'm telling you, this guy, his ball's moving all over the place, and it's late.
This second strikeout tonight.
The two-seam fastball. I mean, look at it's down at the knees, and that thing just dives out of the. That wasn't even a strike, but you can see how that late movement is. He quit. He used to try to pitch up in the zone to get everybody off the pitches down, but he's not doing that anymore. He's staying down in the zone with everything. So when we say, hey, you got to make him get it up, much easier said than done.
Well, because as you just pointed out, that pitch out of the hand and halfway to home plate looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And then by the time it gets there, it's got such sharp downward movement. It'd be great if you could see the pitch coming in slow motion, but they don't get that benefit.
No, you've got to, and that's something that you can't teach. Late movement to a pitch, that's what affects all hitters, because once you commit, there's no holding up. And he'll dive and dart it away to the left-handers, and then he did throw a cutter earlier in an at-bat, and he's got the slider. Not that he has great breaking ball stuff, but it takes you off that hard sinker or his fastball that he throws most of the time.
Well, and then even if you're making contact, sometimes because of that movement, it goes from being on the barrel to off the end of the bat.
You're either hitting it down or popping it up. But 57% ground ball ratio. 57. So that's the lowest in the or I should say the highest ground ball ratio in the American League and second in all of baseball. This is a guy where I don't know what you do with it, but if I'm a hit,
that's a 3-2 pitch line right back up the middle.
Yes, indeed. It got past him in a hurry. That'll knock him off the mound. And it's down. And watch Hosey just fire it right back where it came from. He stayed on that ball beautifully. Stroman acted like he should have caught it. That ball was by him before he saw it.
Exactly. He didn't have his glove up in time until it was 20 feet
He's lucky that wasn't hit closer to him, because it would have got him. But I was thinking, how most hitters stand in the back of the box with this guy. I would think about moving up if he continues to keep that ball down.
Lindor and Clevenger are asking him why he didn't catch it. He looked at him and just said, I had no chance.
Off the end of the bat to center field.
Can't catch what you can't see.
Right.
Well, there you'll see a fastball is 39%, but now he sinks his fastball as well as a four-seam fastball, and he'll throw the slider about the same amount of time as that fastball. Then he'll cut one into the left-handers, and the changeup, not often.
Rick, if you're a right-handed hitter and you see him having this kind of success early, would you consider, if you're Jordan Luplow, for example, say maybe backing off the plate a little bit and look for
where
that sinker
it's not
down
going to be
and in?
running down and into you? You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Luplow's ever faced him before. If he has, it's going to be, let me take a look here. You just go up there and try and see as many pitches as you can in your first at-bat. And Luplow, this is going to be the first time he's faced Stroman. So you go up there in your same stance and see what happens. Once he sees the movement of some of the pitches, then you can make an adjustment or think about doing something. But this is always good. Get yourself into a hitter's count against him to see what he's going to throw in situations like this. He likes it with runners on.
There's that good slider down the way.
How about that? He throws him and located beautifully. I mean, that is number one. Watch where this pitch is. It's a 2-0 slider, and I mean, that's nasty. But I think Luplow will have a pretty good approach here because he's not afraid to take the ball in the right center field where he can dig that sinker out if it's coming in on you. Another slider.
Going off the plate this time, it looks like. Runner goes. It's in the dirt, and no chance to throw him out. Jansen couldn't come up with it cleanly after it skipped in there.
He picked the perfect pitch to run on. And Hosey will get his 21st. There's 22nd, excuse me. And I mean, that ball in the dirt, they weren't going to have a chance.
Well, now a 3-2 count. And any ball that gets through the infield on a base hit should give the Indians the first run of the game here. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Stroman makes his pitch. Gets his third strikeout in 2 scoreless innings. No score, bottom of the 2nd inning. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will lead it off for the Blue Jays. Shane Bieber struck out 2 in the 1st inning. Guerrero takes down low, ball 1.
Guerrero had a couple of hits last night. He's had 4 multi-hit games out of his last 5.
Yeah, that's how you get 9 for your last 18.
Yeah.
Bunch them together.
106 mile an hour double off his bat and 114 on a single last night.
A little low, 3-0. And he walked him. Last night, the Indians had a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 9th. And then Justin Smoke with a home run tied it up. And then in the 10th inning, we got the game winner.
What a night. Yeah, that was the first loss for the Indians on the road after leading after 8 innings. That moved them to 24-1, and that was the first win for Toronto when trailing after 8. 1-56. That was their first one.
Justin Smoke was 10 for his last 60 coming into this series.
Yeah, but he's hit well against the Indians. 9 homers and 19 ribbies in his career. There you see the big shift. Percentage of those balls on the ground going right at first and second. That's why they have the 3 guys over on that right side.
To first, Bauer steps on the bag, throws to second. They'll have to tag him. And they get him in time for a double play.
Yeah, nice double play. 3-6. He had plenty of time to step on first. And then make the toss. And it's 3-5, I'm sorry. Because there's Ramirez coming over. You can see the tag. So Bieber picks up after the leadoff walk and gets this double play ball.
Randall Grichuk in right field tonight. Oh, it fouled right off the mask of Plawecki.
Yeah. Field and Colbert giving him a little time. That one rang the bell. Right there, right in the face mask. Direct hit. Boom.
Swung on a miss. Boy, nice breaking ball by Bieber. And it's 0-2. Randall Grichuk has struck out a dozen times in his last 12 games. High fastball, 1-2. Right field. Luplo right there. Inning over. 2 complete from Toronto. We are scoreless here at the Rogers Center.
Well, you can join us on Wednesday, July 31st, when the Indians will take on the Houston Astros. 12,500 fans will receive a Carlos Carrasco jersey. That's courtesy of Discount Drug Mart. You can pick up a $15 district ticket or a $15 KeyBank Kids ticket. Just go to Indians.com and get your tickets today.
Marcus Stroman and Shane Bieber seem to be on their A game at the outset here tonight. Greg Allen leads off the third for Cleveland. Fastball shaves the outside corner. Greg Allen with a hit in his last 6 games. And over his last 18 games with the big league club, he's hit .395. 3 doubles, 3 triples, couple of homers, throwing 10 runs batted in. He's been a great contributor despite the fact that he has been on the go a lot this year. Up and down, up and down.
Yeah, not playing on a regular basis at the major league level. 16 consecutive games he's reached base.
Yeah, this is his 3rd stint with the big league club. He was called back up on July the 6th. Down low, 2-2. Jose Ramirez and Carlos Santana watching intently as Greg Allen tries to start a rally here in inning number 3. A smash that ate up Sogard at second base.
Did it ever? Yes, he did. Yeah, it's a good at bat by Allen, so that's going to be a base hit, and that's going to get his streak to 17 games. Boy, as a defender, you just sit there and hope it hits the ground. It did, but you're just guessing on the hop. It's hit so hard. See, that's not an easy play, and you're not going to get in front of that one. So base hit for Allen.
And Kevin Plawecki. Blue Jays not looking for a bunt here. And a fastball taken for a strike. Plawecki has hit 300 over his last 13 starts. With 6 runs scored, he's homered and he's driven in 8. So he's done a nice job, a very nice job when called upon.
He had Sunday's game and got a couple of knocks in that ball game. So yeah, he's held his own. And look at that. Last 9 road games, 10 for 20, 5 ribeye.
Runner goes. Fouled back. He had a great jump.
Yeah, that was a nice call right there. You don't see the Indians do this often, hit and run. But Tito knows that Plawecki's swinging the bat well, and he tried to hit it the other way. Allen's going to shoot and give him a hole. He just fouled it off. Not a bad time to try. You're 9th in the in the batting order. It's now a 1-2 count. But they tried to go first and third. I like it, especially off a ground ball pitcher.
Throw down is a good one, right on the money, and they got his hand just before it got to the bag. That was a perfect throw by Jansen. You can't do it any better.
No, that was right on the money. You mentioned it. That was a good throw. Allen going to go back again and start running, and he picked the slider. It was a strike, and I mean that throw was right into the slide by Allen before he could get the hand into the base. Perfect throw, and that'll get a base runner every time.
Tell you what, on the replay, I'm not so sure about the call on Plawecki either. It looked like it was off the plate. But it goes as the 4th strikeout for Stroman. Francisco Lindor grounded out his first time up. I mean, Stroman has just been so doggone consistently good this year. He's had 3, if you want to call them bad starts. He gave up 5 runs in a game against the Angels, 6 runs in a game against the Twins, and 6 runs in a game against Arizona. That's it.
Well, he lost his first start against the Indians because he was shut out. He got beat 3-0. You know, and sometimes you got to get runs if you want to win a ball game.
He had a couple of games that opened up against the Tigers. 7 innings, 2 hit shutout ball. Oakland, 7 innings, 1 hit shutout baseball. Pulled foul. Yeah, he's had the Tigers' number, shutting them out over 7 innings again last time out.
You got to really work off this guy to get yourself on base and get base hits. You better stay to the middle part of the field or the other way. The minute you try to pull him, he's got you.
Down and in. Didn't miss by much. 2-2.
Tried to get that little comebacker over the inside part of the plate. Check it out on our Nissan pitch tracker. See, it's starting to move back and just missed by a ball whipped inside. It's so hard to hit a good sinker down and away because you have to use your legs to go out and get it. And that pitch before that last one, he just set it up with a good fastball, tried to get it to come back. And you see Frankie leaning. It's tough to hit a low sinker the other way because you got to go down and get it.
That one was elevated a little bit more, but 2-2. And going back to your point, when you're conscious of both sides of the plate, it makes it that much tougher to hit.
You can't dive out there to go get it because he doesn't just throw it out there continuously. He'll cut it inside to the left-handers. He'll throw that little comeback sinker inside part of the plate. There it is.
And then he goes the slider down and in. See you later. 5 strikeouts for Marcus Stroman. Midway through the third, no score. Well, just a reminder, if you're enjoying a cold one tonight, stay tuned later in the game for our Miller Lite Hold True moment. Scoreless game. Bottom of the third inning, bottom third of the order due up for Toronto. Not surprisingly, the Blue Jays have had a tough time this year stringing victories together at any point in the season. They've gone 7-11 in their last 18 games. Broken back one hopper to short. Charlie Montoyo's club did have one nice stretch early in the season. When I say early, I mean April. Their longest win streak of the year. They won 4 straight. And what's interesting about it, Rick, is that in the span of 10 days, they swept 6 games from the Oakland A's.
Wow.
A home and home. Out there it took 3. Here it took 3 both times. That was their best stretch of baseball. And after that, on April 28th, they were 14-14. So they were right at the break-even point. And then lost 10 of their next 12. In those 12 losses, Marcus Stroman, tonight's starting pitcher, and Aaron Sanchez were combined 0-6.
Yeah, well.
So you got your 2 big guns out there, and you lose all 6 of their starts.
Right.
And you could see the signs were there that this was going to be a long year for Toronto. Good pitch, bottom of the zone for a strike.
Yeah, that's what they need, and they don't really have the makeup down in the minor leagues either for pitching, where they can call up any good young prospects, or they would be here by now.
Chased after it. I believe he went. No. T.J. Rayburn said he held up. 1 ball, 2 strikes. At one point in the month of June, they really bottomed out. They were 23 games under 500 after they went through a 33-game stretch where they lost 24 out of 33. Fouled away. And so that brings us to today. And that is Charlie Montoyo could be seeing Stroman make his last start. And, you know, it's one of those situations similar to where people have talked about with Trevor Bauer, because there's another year of
eligibility,
player team control
right.
attached to that player. He's optimum time to maybe trade as far as what you could get on the return. But as we stated earlier, nobody has made the first move yet. It's
going to happen.
It's going to be interesting to see which trade chip is the first to go. Bieber's 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. That's 3 Ks for Shane. 1 down here in the third. How about our stat of the game, brought to you by Buick? Strikeouts per 9 innings. Shane Bieber is 4th in the American League. Garrett Cole, number 1. Chris Sale, Matthew Boyd, who's also been rumored to potentially be on the move.
Yeah, Shane Bieber has been remarkable. You know, he's done that since he's been called up, man. He finds a way to strike people out. They don't realize with his command, you know, he doesn't walk many. He attacks you. He gets ahead of you. He's got a good slider. The curveball's very tough. He did add that changeup this year. You know, sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. But there you go, pitch right there. That's where you live at. That's got to be your bread and butter, where your go-to pitch. You can throw it any time you want to in any count.
Drury looks at a fastball off the plate, or excuse me, Hernandez. No, yeah, Drury. Brandon Drury, last 26 games, has struck out 20 times with a 182 average against.
You know, a lot of times, even when Bieber misses, those are pitches that hitters could swing at if they're getting ready to chase when he gets ahead in the count. I mean, he doesn't throw very few pitches that are non-competitive.
Got him looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Shane Bieber.
Well, it's going to be Dollar Dog Night when we return home to Progressive Field, and the Indians will take on Mike Trout and the Angels. You can get to the game early for a pregame in the district. That is presented by Miller Lite. Stay after the game for a 50th anniversary of Woodstock-themed fireworks display. You can get your tickets at Indians.com or use the ballpark app.
Fourth inning, Oscar Mercado to lead off for Cleveland. Mercado struck out his first time up. Oscar batting .349 over his last 12 games, with 11 runs batted in, 8 runs scored. 2-0.
I'll tell you what, he's been 2-0 to two guys. Once Plawecki, and he threw him a slide. Excuse me, it was Luplo. And this one right here, 2-0, slider, Mercado, both in great spots.
Fly ball shallow right field. Grichuk coming in to make the catch. 1 down. Showstopper last night, 14-12 in favor of the New York Yankees. Aaron Hicks with the big go-ahead 2-run homer in the 9th, and then how about this catch?
Unbelievable. Former Minnesota Twin. They traded him to the Yankees. He comes back and has a heck of a night. And look at Didi, 5 for 5, 7 ribbies.
Hicks almost had a face plant on the warning track, similar to what we saw Byron Buxton do in Cleveland. Buxton ended up, that put him on the injured list with the concussion.
The difference in that one, Buxton was coming straight in.
Yes.
You know, and Hicks was running on the side where it's just not as much force, I don't think. But great catch to end the game.
Santana, high fly ball, slicing down the line, and a long run over, and then sliding is Lourdes Gurriel Jr. That's a heck of a play. I thought he went into a slide maybe too early, but he made the catch.
Well, it would have been a foul ball, so he had to slow down before he would have hit the stands. You watch, he does go down early, but he knows what he's doing, because watch how close he is to that wall there. He goes down early, he gets into foul territory, but boy, he stayed up there. It's ended up making a nice play, but this is like a turf track as well. You know, it's not like the dirt or something you know you're going to run on, so that helped him slide right into it. Same texture.
Jason Kitten has struck out his first time up. Looks at a fastball on the outside corner. One ball, one strike. Good eye, 2-1. Now the 2-2. And Kipnis unloads a line drive base hit into right field. And then bobbling it slightly was Grichuk, but Kipnis will settle for a 2-out base hit. And the Indians have their third hit in as many innings off Marcus Stroman. Injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk & Elk. Yandy Diaz, former Indian, on the injured list for Tampa. C.J. Cron. It's been a recurring thumb problem for him. Brandon Woodruff for Milwaukee. What might that do to the Brewers as far as the trading deadline? We talk about injuries all the time. Jose Ramirez, a liner to second, and the inning is over. So the Indians have had 3 singles off Marcus Stroman, but no runs thus far in. Well, let's take a look at StatCast AI powered by AWS. The strike him out, throw him out double play.
Yeah, he was beautiful. He stayed with that slide at a pop time, 193. Average is 1.99, so he got rid of it quickly. And not only did he get rid of it quickly, it was right on target.
Back to the top of the order, Eric Sogard struck out his first time up. Just didn't catch the top of the zone.
Change up away.
Painted the outside corner. Evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Up and away at a full count.
See what he has to offer here on the full count. He has walked 1. It was a leadoff walk to Guerrero back in the 2nd.
Right field, down the line, foul.
Tried to throw that little slider inside, but he hit hard and pulled. Foul. He was just looking fastball maybe and just reacted to that pitch.
Center field, Oscar Mercado back a few steps to make the catch. 1 down.
Good at bat, but he's out.
Browns camp opens tomorrow, and Sportstime Ohio will take you to Berea for all the information you want on Training Camp Daily, presented by 7-Up tomorrow night after Indians Live postgame on Sportstime Ohio and streaming on Fox Sports Go. Freddie Galvis, a ground out his first time up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Swung on and missed. Boy, was that a nice pitch. You can see Gal was just sort of in a defensive.
He was not looking for that pitch. He was just trying to foul that one off.
T-Mobile connection to the game. Yuli Gurriel hit it inside the park home run on a 4-3 loss to the A's.
That guy's been unbelievable. 25 games, Matty, 15 home runs.
Center field, back is Mercado. And a 1-2-3 inning for Shane Bieber. He is rolling tonight. Through 4, no score in Toronto. Cleveland Indians baseball brought to you by the all-new 2020 Kia Telluride. Give it everything. By the Cleveland Building and Trades Council. Skilled union construction workers building and rebuilding Cleveland since 1913. And by your Chevy Network dealers. Visit clickchevy.com. Chevrolet, find new roads. Beautiful evening here on the shores of Lake Ontario. No score, 5th inning. Marcus Stroman has given up 3 singles, 1 in each of the last 3 innings. Blue Jays have had 1 base runner, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who walked to open the 2nd inning.
Yeah, this has been a great pitching matchup. Stroman's given up 3 hits. Bieber, zip.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Ground ball to first. Smoke with the flip. 1 down. Go back and take a look at the T-Mobile connection to the game. Trey Turner had his 2nd career cycle last night for the Nats.
Yeah, he's missed some time this year, but a very good player. And I was looking at Gurriel, 15 homers in his last 25 games. Figures then it's all going so well for him. He even gets an inside the Parker to add to it.
And his brother's been hot.
They both have been hot. Since June 23rd, there's no one hitting like either one of them.
I know it.
It's unbelievable. Gurriel's hitting .398 with those 16 homers and 35 RBIs in the last 25 games.
Yeah, that's crazy hot.
And we know his brother's hot, but also we talked about bloodlines the first evening we were here, guys. The bloodlines for the Gurriels is pretty deep as well. Lourdes Gurriel Sr. was a Cuban All-Star and MVP and hit over .338 in his 16 years playing in the top Cuban league.
Never
was able to defect, so he lives through his sons. But their bloodlines are pretty
taught
good.
him well.
They're right up there with the Biggios and Guerreros back in Cuba.
No question about that.
You know, Andre, it's interesting because so much attention has been paid, rightfully so, to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Kevin Biggio, the sons of the Hall of Famers, but they also have Bo Bichette, who's tearing it up at AAA. Dante Bichette's son.
He'll be up here soon.
He's hitting over 300 down in Buffalo, and he is getting very close from what I was told.
He's very impatient, too. He told Rogers Sportsnet the other night he doesn't understand why he's not here.
What position does Bichette
shortstop
play? He is shortstop, too. Well, you got Galvis sitting over there, and he's been one of their best players this year.
And Sogard is one of the top leadoff batting averages in the league. So there's a log jam right now. And
there is. He's got to bide his time, and I totally understand him. But Galvis is leading their team in hits and runs and RBIs. So
now the 2-2 to Jordan Luplow. blowing away. This was the quote from Bichette when he was asked if he thinks he deserves a promotion. I've done everything they asked me to do. I performed, I put up numbers, so if I'm not ready, then there's something new they need to tell me that I need to get better at. He's 21 years old.
Well, maybe he's telling me I better trade Galvis and let me come up here before the trading deadline. He's trying to draw first blood.
6 strikeouts for Marcus Stroman. And there are 2 down here in the 5th. But that's pretty special when you think that at some point in the near future they're going to have 3 sons of former major league stars. I mean, Dante Bichette wasn't.
He was a very good player.
Necessarily the caliber of Guerrero and Biggio, but he had some great years with the Rockies. And what are the odds that one organization would get all 3
I know it.
at the same time?
It is, and they're all about the same age. Greg Allen had a nice at-bat in his first AB. Lined a single past Sogard at second base on a full count.
Fastball ran off the plate. He was going to try to drop a bunt down.
Well, I wouldn't do that because I think Stroman's a pretty good athlete on the mound. Don't bunt on him. He's 5'7", 180 pounds, but he's as quick as a cat and a very good athlete.
Here is the 2-2. Up the middle again. Greg Allen is 2 for 2 tonight.
Got himself a breaking ball and hit it right back up the middle. So he lined one on a good fastball his first at bat. Now this time he gets the breaking ball. He left it up a little bit, hits it on that turf, and gets it under Stroman. He reached out and just could not get there. So that's their 4th hit. This coming with 2 outs. He was thrown out trying to steal second base back in the 3rd inning. But there may be a time he may want to try it again in this part of the order with Plawecki up. He's holding it.
Plawecki hammers one to left field. That's going to go to the wall. Greg Allen speeding around the bag. He's going to come into 3rd. They're going to wave him home. They overshoot the first relay man. The second throw to the plate, not in time. Allen beats the tag of Jansen, and the Indians strike first. A 2-out RBI double here in the 5th inning as Greg Allen just gets under the tag of Jansen.
You know, they might have had him if they hit their first cutoff man. He overthrows the first one, and Allen, they're going to send him. They have to. Such a good pitch ball game to this point. And then the trailing runner comes in, and I think Allen gets his hand down on the plate, and I think they're going to take a look at it. They want to take a look at it. Does he tag him before that hand hits the plate? You can see nothing but chalk, and it was well worth the risk, but here's a good relay once it comes in. Let's see.
Sure was safe on that first look there.
It's hard to tell where the hand is, but I mean the dust is flying. From that other angle we just looked at, it looked like Culbreth was in the shot and blocking it. This may be a good angle here. All right, he gets across, and there's the tag on the elbow. That's hard to tell because of the chalk. But he was called safe. Great hustle. That was a short relay throw from left field.
And Rick, talk about Sogard, the second baseman, being heads up to be in position. Otherwise, if that overshoots Galvis, if he's not in that position, they don't even get a throw to the plate.
It was a great play there. He was backing up, and I mean, he got rid of it quickly. And Plawecki didn't waste any time. He held that ball. I was waiting for him to call timeout because when he came in the stretch, he just continued to hold it.
See Greg's reaction as he's watching it up on the video board. He's saying, come on, I'm safe.
You know, but he doesn't know. I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, we're going to slow everything down to the nth degree, and it's so close. See, they couldn't overturn it. They didn't have enough evidence. Call will stand.
So Greg Allen scores all the way from first on Kevin Plawecki's 2-out RBI double, and it's 1-0 Cleveland. And Plawecki continues to take advantage of his playing opportunities.
Yes,
that's his 9th run batted in, Arch, in his last 14 starts.
That's a heck of a job, man. Bottom part of the lineup now. Allen with 2 hits, and Plawecki drives in the run. 8-9. We've been talking about it for 2 weeks.
Doesn't matter who they are.
It doesn't. We've been talking about him for 2 weeks.
Francisco Lindor looks at a backdoor slider for strike 1.
Well, the good thing about this is that he had the first 2 outs and then a single by Allen and a quick double by Plawecki. We're coming with 2 outs. Beautiful.
Throw back. You're talking about the 8th and 9th spots in the order. Tyler Naquin has a big reason why those 2 spots in the order have been so productive. He's missed now 2 games in a row. What's the story with Naquin right now?
He ran out in right field before the game today. I talked to him afterwards. He says that it's just tight in the upper half of the hamstring, but he expects to play tomorrow or Friday, guys. He feels like he can play. He says as long as he can get it loose beforehand, he can go. They just wanted to be careful with him tonight, but he expects to be in the lineup tomorrow or Friday.
All right. Thanks for the update. Lindor looking for a 2-out knock to extend the lead here. Popped him up. Infield. Galvis calling for it. And the shortstop puts it away. Boy, oh boy, you talk about by an eyelash. Greg Allen just beats the tag. 1-0 Cleveland.
Season tickets offer the best perks, including savings and access to Tribe Rewards. Today's Tribe Rewards code is Bleachers. Visit Indians.com for complete details.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. steps in and swings at the first pitch, pops it sky high, backpedaling Jason Kipnis. And the second baseman has it 1 away. Our great clip of the game from last night, Trevor Bauer. I mean, he had some filthy stuff. And he did all he could do. He went 7 2/3, gave up 3 hits, struck out 9. He's gone 14 2/3 scoreless innings against Toronto this year.
Yeah, talk about movement. This ball was moving all over the place.
Justin Smoke grounded into a double play his first time up. That's the only time Toronto had a base runner in this game, when Guerrero walked to start the second inning. Smoke sends a long fly ball deep left field. Back is Greg Allen on to the warning track. 2 down. Well, we're right back at it tomorrow night in Kansas City as the Indians will open a 4-game series at Kauffman Stadium. Adam Pletko will go for the Tribe against Mike Montgomery. Our coverage begins at 7:30 with Indians Live pregame on Sportstime Ohio and streaming on Fox Sports Go. Randall Grichuk fly to right, his only time up. And a fastball dips low. Pulls that foul.
Send out some birthday wishes. Wayne Hogan, 75 from Brunswick. Ron Berna, 75 from North Olmsted. Barbara Gehring, 75 from Akron. Happy birthday.
Just missed off the outside corner.
Here he's trying to get a little movement for it to come back on the plate. It just stayed straight. But
swung on and missed. Shane Bieber with 6 strikeouts through 5 scoreless frames. The Indians open a 3-game series on Friday, August 2nd. And it will be a special telecast for us. It will be the Cleveland Indians Charities Give-a-thon presented by Colic Giving. Tune in and find out how you can help in this very important cause. We go to the 6th inning with the Indians leading it by a score of 1-0. Oscar Mercado 0 for 2 will lead it off. Ground ball right back to him this time. Stroman able to cut off a would-be hit.
He's had a couple go past him out there, but he said he keep very persistent.
Mid-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. And right now the only run of the game coming with a 2-out RBI double by Kevin Plawecki in the 5th that scored Greg Allen, who is 2 for 2. And Shane Bieber has shut down this Toronto offense. He has struck out 6. The only base runner, Vladimir Guerrero, who walked to lead off the 2nd, and then he was erased on a double play ball, so he's faced the minimum through 5. Carlos Santana 0 for 2. Missed inside. Broken bat bouncer to second base. Eric Sogard will throw out Santana. 2 down. Let's get a word from Noko.
Start dead batteries with Noco.
Jason Kipnis struck out on the 2nd, lined a single into right field in the 4th.
A little double bump action there, where he'll sometimes quick pitch you, he'll hold it. But when Allen was on first base last inning, Plawecki was the hitter, held it a little longer, trying to change his rhythm. But he's thrown the ball very well tonight.
Kipnis pops one sky high. Third baseman Brandon Drury makes the grab. The Indians go 1-2-3 for the first time since the first inning.
Clinic Children's is the official kids fan club for the Cleveland Indians, designed for children ages 6 to 14. Memberships are $25 and include invitations to exclusive events and cool tribe gear. Visit Indians.com for more information.
Danny Jansen will lead off for Toronto here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Throws the bat at it. Going out, Jason Kipnis, shallow center field, puts it away, 1 down. Let's get a Ganley Subaru game break right now. Back to Cleveland. Here's Al Pawlowski. No, not at all. This ball popped up, foul ground. Let's see, Bowers over to the seats. No, sir, cannot get to it. Yeah, there were 3 2-run homers hit in that second inning by St. Louis.
Crazy.
They opened it up against the Pirates. Cardinals just a game back of the Cubs. Milwaukee just 2 back. Pirates and the Reds both fading. They were just a handful of games back themselves, but this time of year, boy, you stumble, and all of a sudden the front office may shift its thinking to maybe we should look to make some trades. And thus, I saw a story earlier today that said Yasiel Puig could be moved by Cincinnati.
Well, yeah, guys that are going to be free agents at the end of the year. You know, see if somebody wants them for a 2-month rental.
1 ball, 1 strike to count on Teoscar Hernandez, who struck out swinging his first time up.
I was talking to Tito earlier, Matt. It's funny you brought up Puig's name, and Tito said, you know what? He goes, the one thing I've learned about the trade deadline, 99% of what you guys are reading and what's put out there is false. Yeah. he goes, you know, you hear a name or you say something, so you call someone you know from another team or you talk to your guys, and he says, half this stuff, and then he said, well, that's not 99%, is it?
Well,
but most of it, he said, is just not real.
I know exactly what he's saying, yeah. 2 down as Jordan Luplow puts away that fly ball.
And he just talked about how that can be the hard part of dealing with your own players. And that's why Chris Antonetti went out of his way to talk to Brad Hand as well as Trevor Bauer and told them, if there's something going on with you guys, I will call you. I will let you know. We won't let you guys get caught. But he says right now they haven't been told anything. So that's where the Indians are with their guys. And you know, he says that things go along, they will stay in contact with these guys if something comes up.
And that's where it is a different world. Like when Arch was playing,
right?
You know, you could just not read the papers. You could literally say, well, I'm just not going to read the papers.
Tune out.
And you avoid all that. But these young players, they're all involved in some form of social media, and so we really cannot escape the noise. Foul ball.
I mean, these guys go to the clubhouse and they'll have a friend text and tell them something, or another guy. Sure. You know, it's constant. I've had guys say to me during games, "Hey, what's being said about me?" I've had guys say that, and I'm like, "You really are worried about that right now?" And Trevor's told me, "Wouldn't you think about it a little bit if you constantly saw your name everywhere you go?"
Well, you're on Twitter and you're doing half of it out there. You're putting it out there.
I haven't put anything out.
Yeah, there's not a lot of guys like Madison Bumgarner who basically say, "I don't care.
Yeah,
right. I'm showing up here to play. This is the team I'm playing for right now."
That's basically all you can do, but it's hard not to think about it. Is right.
I'm tweeting out Arches on the trade.
Tell him I'm on the trading block. I cleared waivers.
You want $1 million bonus or a move, though, right?
Fly ball center field. Another routine play. A 1-2-3 inning for Shane Bieber. He is dominating here tonight north of the border. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk. Proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. 1-0, Cleveland on top. And as we go to the 7th inning. Jose Ramirez, Jake Bowers, Jordan Luplow due for the Indians. Ramirez 1 for 2. He singled back in the second inning. Our good friend and colleague Buck Martinez televises many of the Toronto Blue Jays games. Unfortunately, he's not working this series. He's got the series off. I think he's doing a little fishing, a little R&R mid-season. But I wanted to bring his name up because I read a great story. They're celebrating 30 years of baseball here in this ballpark, formerly known as the Sky Dome, now the Rogers Center. As Ramirez drives one to fairly deep left, but Gurriel will have no problem with it. Really good story I read, Arch, on The Athletic, that in 1984, Paul Godfrey was part of the committee, might have been head of the committee to build a new ballpark for the Blue Jays. And Buck Martinez was a catcher for Toronto at that time. And he had a conversation with Paul Godfrey about the new ballpark. And it was Buck Martinez who said, you know, if you're going to build a dome, do you think there's a way you could build one that opened and closed, where the roof opened and closed? And Paul Godfrey looked at Buck Martinez and said, you mean a retractable roof? And Buck said, yeah. He goes, players hate playing indoors. It's not baseball when you're stuck inside.
Right.
He said, it'd be great if you could find a way to build it so that it could open and close. And Godfrey looked at him and said, you know, I don't know. I don't know if we can do that or not. But the seed was planted. And it was Buck Martinez who brought it up, and they went in. And, I mean, this thing, 30 years later, it's still a marvel to watch this baby open and close.
Yeah, it truly is.
There are 3 different, I guess, railroad tracks, for the lack of a better term, up on that top of the stadium. That's how this roof spins around and opens and closes. But
well, and we got to see it Monday night. It was closed.
Right.
And boy, tonight is just gorgeous. When it's open like this, and you have a beautiful weather up in Toronto, it's as nice as it gets.
Jake Bowers draws a 1-out walk, and the Indians have a base runner here in the 7th inning for Jordan Luplow. $600 million was the cost when it was all said and done, 1989. But it was way over what they initially estimated it would be.
Right.
I think to the tune of almost 3 times, maybe more than 3 times what they initially thought it was going to cost. So it wasn't without hiccups, but it's been a marvelous facility for the Blue Jays. Unfortunately, you know, these kind of ballparks went out of vogue because right after this opened, essentially 89, you think a few years later, Camden Yards opened, and that was a game changer.
White Sox ballpark opened in 90.
But that was still the old guard, too. That was more like cookie cutter.
Yeah.
But when Camden opened, that's when everybody said, ooh, that's the new wave of ballparks, and they've all sort of followed in that same style.
It's a great place to watch a game from if you're in the seats.
Also, interesting part of that story, the first time they opened it was I think it was the night before they played the first game here. It rained. They had like a concert or some kind of an event, you know, welcoming people in. They opened the thing up and it was pouring down rain. So the ground crew had to work all night to get the field ready for the next day, which was the first game. And it opened during the summer. It was in June.
That was against the Milwaukee Brewers, their first game in this dome.
Action in the Toronto bullpen as Marcus Stroman closes in on 100 pitches.
That was the first walk by Stroman of the night.
And a nice swing by Luplow, but playing shallow enables Gritchett to make the catch for out number 2. Greg Allen at first base with 2 outs in the 5th inning. And Greg Allen took off. And the overthrow might have been just the hair they needed to get Greg Allen home ahead of that tag.
As close as that play was at home plate, you would have to think it was. Although Sogard did a heck of a job and got rid of that ball quickly. And I will say this, a lot of times when you're playing in left field, that's the shortest throw when you've got your cutoff man. So sometimes that shortstop goes out a little too far for an outfielder who likes to extend his arm. So you've got to know that, but that was a really good heads-up play by Sogard to be behind him and he got rid of that ball quickly and made it awfully, awfully close.
Greg Allen chops it right to the third baseman, Drury. He'll go to first to retire the side. Stretch time in Toronto. Something special brewing here at the Rogers Center. One nothing. Indians on top. Bottom of the 7th inning. Top of the order. Due up for Toronto is Shane Bieber. We'll go through this Toronto lineup now for the 3rd time tonight. The only man to reach Vladimir Guerrero, who started the 2nd inning with a walk and then was erased on a double play ground out by Justin Smoke. Bieber has faced the minimum through 6.
66 pitches for Shane.
Eric Sogard has struck out, flied out. The ball had some wicked movement.
That was a changeup to start the leadoff hitter with. Well, he's just been painting corners.
Yes.
Hasn't he?
That's what you
He's
really
kept the ball
noticed
down,
tonight.
and I mean to tell you, he's gone in and out, and he's had some quick drying paint on the outside part of the plate and inside.
Yanked right field. One hops over the fence for a ground rule double, and the Blue Jays have the first hit of the night.
Well, Sogard had a good at-bat in his last time up. He lined one foul and then lined out to center field, but that's a breaking ball down. That was in off the plate, and he is quick in there, boy. He lined it, bounces it one time over the fence, ground rule double. First hit of the ball game given up by Shane Bieber.
And Freddie Galvis 0 for 2 to the plate. Has grounded out, struck out. Up and away, 2 balls and a strike. And now it's 2-2. So I think it's got to be so difficult at times for a pitcher when you get to the 7th inning and you haven't given up a hit. It's got to enter your thoughts at some point. And so you've got to quickly put the disappointment behind you once you give up that first hit, because this is still a 1-run game.
Get it in.
Greg Allen quickly returns the ball. Sogard stays at second, 2 down. Spectrum Mobile Replay shows you some of the effectiveness of Shane Bieber tonight.
Well, I mean, his breaking ball has been working good. He's had a good slider, a good changeup. He's located his fastball. He's thrown it by some hitters. You know, you're right. It probably does creep into your mind, but when you give it up, you just got to focus, especially when it's a 1-0 ball game. His job now is you just don't let him advance the runner. Don't let him get him in. So he's got to continue to make pitches. But he's been outstanding tonight.
Lourdes Gurriel 0 for 2 has struck out, flied out.
This has been a great pitching matchup. Finish up our birthdays. Diane Yannick with 77 from Cleveland. Pat Amato, 78 from Lorraine. Donna Shoemaker, 81 from Baldville. Bill Richardson, 82 from Worcester. And Joy Chessier, 85 from Cleveland Heights. Happy birthday to y'all.
Now to play right side. A 2-strike pitch. And no signal. And now Fielding Culber says he'll get first base. I thought that hit the bat.
It sounded like it did. I'm sure it did, but part of the hand as well.
Gurriel seems stunned. He doesn't know what to do.
Well, Culber is going to take pointed to first base. He was trying to jump up and get out of the way, and you watch, it does get him in the hand, but it might have got the knob of the bat
sure
as well.
Looked like it. Here we go again with the knob of the bat.
Well, again, we saw this last week in Cleveland. It's going to be the same thing.
That's right off the bottom of the bat. That didn't hit his hand.
I'm sure part of his hand.
Well, here comes Tito. They're going to take a look at it. Tito's going to challenge it. I think it's a good challenge. That video we just showed, Rick, that looked like that might be pretty conclusive.
Well, they already asked the first base umpire, did he swing? And I just saw him ask, and he said, no, he did not. So now they're going to take a look at it. If it did hit the bottom part of the bat or the knob, I mean, like that, it absolutely looks like it is. It hit it. But we had this twice in one game. The call was that it got him on the hand. That's the call.
That's as clear as you're going to get. But again, as we saw back in Cleveland, I don't know that they're going to overturn it based on what we saw the last time. Remember, that was Shane Bieber that pitched that game in Cleveland.
That's right, against Minnesota. They ended up getting 3 runs. They did not get, or they tied the game at 3 at that point in time. And yes, it was a Shane Bieber game. And it was back-to-back hitters, if I'm not mistaken.
Players are all watching on the video board. Well, here we go.
That's so hard to tell.
They're going to give him the base anyway. I don't know. I don't know what you have to do to be any more clear than. I don't know. So Bieber has some trouble. There are 2 on and 1 out. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the batter. Walked in the second, and he popped up to Jason Kipnis, leading off the 5th.
Bieber needs a ground ball, double play. Love to get it.
Fouled back 0-2. Fastball misses wide. Guerrero able to hold up.
Well, you can see the efficiency of Bieber tonight. It has been outstanding, but this has been the toughest time. They've had 2 men on, the only time. Last time he had a man on, he walked him, and he got the double play ball.
Oscar Mercado goes back and makes the catch for out number 2. Sogard will tag at second and move to third base. And Justin Smoak will be the batter with 2 on and 2 out. Our Spectrum Mobile player profile shows you that among active players, Justin Smoak has been one of the best at hitting 9th-inning home runs.
Yeah, he did it last night. Yes, sir.
Out of play. On the fastball, he got him to expand his zone early in the count. Interesting. You figure in that situation, Smoke is looking for a ball middle in to drive. And he chased one off the plate. And then a great off-speed pitch.
Change up.
Yeah. Watch this thing straight down.
And you can see what he was thinking. He was thinking heater, and look at the movement, and it was really down below the knees. Really good change up there.
Swung on and missed. He struck him out on 3 pitches to end the inning.
Nicely done.
7 one-hit shutout innings for Shane Bieber. And we'll go to the 8th, 1-0 Cleveland. Marcus Stroman will not go the distance tonight. He's out after 7 innings, giving up just 1 run on 5 hits. Walked 1, struck out 6. Daniel Hudson, Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen, is the new pitcher for Toronto. 42nd appearance of the year. And a fastball strike at 95 miles an hour. Into Kevin Plawecki, who has the biggest hit of this game, a 2-out RBI double in the 5th. Hudson really having a good year.
Boy, is he ever. You know, he's allowed just 2 runs in his last 17 games, covering 20 1/3 innings. He's been great when his manager has called on him to come on with runners on base. He's stranded 21 of his 22 inherited guys, so he has really had a solid year for him out of the pen.
Yeah, other than Giles, who's given up a batting average against at 206, his mark of 210 is one of the best in that bullpen.
Well, yeah, they're trying to keep it a 1-0 game right here.
Plawecki took a fastball for strike 3. 1 away. Our Miller Lite Hold True moment earlier today. A sight for sore eyes. Corey Kluber on a mound doing what he does best, pitching. And that's a great sight just to see him back on the bump as he works his way back. And it will be a process. Andre, what did you glean from talking to the 2-time Cy Young Award winner?
He's in a great mindset through 35 pitches today, all fastballs and changeups. He will throw another bullpen on Saturday in Kansas City, and he's getting close to the point where he'll be able to spin it off the mound as well. So the Indians feel good about it. I talked to him afterwards. He says everything feels great. He's just doing what he's been told to do. When I kind of pushed him and said, hey, when are we going to see you actually go out and, pitch in the minors? He smiled and he said, I don't know yet, but I feel like we're getting closer to that moment.
Yeah, it is unfortunately a long process with the amount of time he has missed. But boy, it'll be great to see him get back on that mound in live action here for the Tribe before the year's over with.
Swung on and missed. It's 0-2. My guess is that when he can throw all of his pitches off the mound and go through that with no issues, it won't be very long, I wouldn't think, after that they'll send him out. But again, you have to clear each hurdle first, which is why he's not trying to be coy. He just doesn't want to get ahead of himself. 0-2. Upstairs. Lindor 0 for 3 tonight. He's had a good month of July, batting .301, 4 doubles, 4 homers, 13 driven in. He scored 10. $25,385. They haven't seen the Blue Jays offer much in the form of entertainment tonight, so they'll try to entertain themselves with their rendition of the Wave. Hard to do, though, when you have giant chunks of seats unoccupied. It kind of loses some of the muster.
They're just trying to get a little blood flowing is what they're doing. They've been sitting down all night long. They want to get up.
2-2. Ripped down the right field line. That's a fair ball, headed into the corner. Lindor has 2. And he'll settle with a 1-out double here in the 8th inning. That's his 21st double of the year.
Second double for the Indians. The first one plated their only run, but this one he hits a fastball inside, and I mean at a rope down the line. That ball stayed fair. Well, Frankie comes in with his 21st double. 111 off the bat of Lindor.
And Oscar Mercado, the batter, 0 for 3 tonight. As the Indians try to extend the lead.
Well, they'll get a chance. A couple of opportunities with 1 out to drive in that runner from second. Look at this. Take it. Yes.
No throw even offered. A stolen base for
up play.
Lindor, his 15th.
Nobody really kept him close, you know, so he felt it and he just took off. Look at, he went back, and then on first, as soon as he turns his head, he took off for third base, and that's a really heads-up play because now he forces their infield to come in and play on the cut of the turf. And there's that insurance run. Really, that's a great time to steal a base. He caught him napping. Bingo.
Mercado with a fly ball to center field. Hernandez makes the catch back on his heels. Lindor will tag. He'll come home. It's 2-0 Cleveland as Mercado gets his 29th run batted in on the year.
Yeah, nice little insurance run there. And it didn't take long. That's going to pump up that dugout a little bit.
You talk about it frequently where the stolen base is concerned. You always say, show me a guy that can steal you a base when you need one. It's not the stats, the number, it's the quality of the steal.
Yeah.
Time and place.
Not how many you get, it's the time you steal the base, and that was a very important one. And he could take the chance because they have a 1-0 lead. But he wasted no time. He ended up getting just the perfect jump, and he lulled him to sleep, and he got over there.
And now with 2 down, Carlos Santana, 0 for 3 on the night. Ding dong. Fastball right down the heart of the plate. 1-1 to count. Good count for Santana as Hudson delivers. He pops it to center field, and Teoscar Hernandez will settle under it. And the inning is over. Frankie Lindor helping the Indians extend the lead. He doubles with 1 out. Swipes third, comes home on the sac fly by Mercado. 2-0 Indians. Go to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Indians up 2-0. 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up for Toronto. Shane Bieber, 6 no-hit innings before allowing a leadoff double to Eric Sogard in the 7th, but he was able to strand him at third base when he struck out Justin Smoak to end the inning. I don't know about you. I'm kind of with Jensen, though. I think Bieber has the opportunity to give the bullpen a night off and take this one home himself if he can get through this inning.
Yeah, if he stays
relatively
like he
efficient.
has been, and his 12 to 14 pitches. That'll put him right around the 100 mark, but it would be nice to finish off your own game. He did it one other time earlier this year in Baltimore. You remember that game? He gave up 9 innings, 5 hits, punched out 15 in that game, threw 107 pitches. Lucky was the catcher in that game.
Popped him up.
Stay in.
Behind the plate, Plawecki. And it's over into the screen. Randall Grichuk is 0 for 2 tonight. He has flied out, struck out. And he got him looking at a fastball for his 8th strikeout of the night.
There you go. Just take a look at the paint on the outside. I mean, that's perfect. Right there, even though it was up a little bit, he just didn't want to pull the trigger. 59 strikes out of his 90 pitches.
Catcher Danny Jansen 0 for 2 is grounded out, popped up. And same pitch, fastball, outside corner, strike 1, and that's why he's been so good tonight. He's been able to do that all night long. And then when you can pinpoint that fastball, then you go to work with the off-speed pitches, whether it's a slider or changeup, and it's just been really a masterpiece.
Yeah, 20 out of 25 first pitch strikes. So you talk about getting ahead. He has done that all night long.
Blew it right by him. And that is strikeout number 9 as Bieber has fanned 3 in a row.
You just watch the outside part of the plate. He's just carving right now. Like it's Thanksgiving. He's got the knife out and getting after it. Bingo. He's going to get a chance.
Kipnis calling for it.
Yes.
1-2-3 go the Blue Jays in the 8th inning. 2-0 Cleveland as we head to the 9th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Beautiful evening. It's been a gorgeous 3 days here in Toronto. I mean, you go to any major city in America in the middle of July, and chances are it's going to be hot. But it's been in the 70s. It's been just ideal. Roof open all night long. And a great pitcher's duel we have witnessed tonight. Shane Bieber, a one-hit shutout through 8. There is action in the Cleveland pen, but I think Bieber's got a chance to finish this one.
I certainly hope so.
Wilmer Font is the 3rd pitcher of the night for Toronto. Daniel Hudson gave up a run in the 8th inning. Big curveball in there for strike 1 to Jason Kipnis. Kip 1 for 3. Marcus Stroman went 7 innings. He allowed just 1 run on 5 hits. Kipnis sends a fly ball to left. Gurriel. 1 down.
Yeah.
Recapping the storylines brought to you by your Northeast Ohio Ford dealers. Indians wanted to make Stroman get the ball up. And
he was on his game tonight.
Yeah, he was really good.
I think the 5 hits that they got, they did a nice job.
Yeah, they were fortunate that Kevin Plawecki, a well-timed 2-out RBI double, and Greg Allen with some great base running to get their only run off Stroman.
You know, the funny thing for Stroman is he's made 2 starts against the Indians. He has had no run support. So in the 13 innings he's pitched against Cleveland, he's given up just 4 runs, 3 in the 1 start, 1 tonight. But his teammates haven't helped him out at all.
Well, think about this, Arch, just for a second.
That's
here.
the good pitching that Cleveland's thrown at the Blue Jays lineup.
In Stroman's first 3 starts of the year, in those 3 games, he gave up a total of 5 runs and was 0-2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a pitcher, you know you can't do anything like that. You have to hold your team close and hold them in ball games, and he's done just that. His ERA's got to be under 3 now.
Just outside, Jose Ramirez had the first hit of this game, a line drive single to center field in the 2nd inning. Jose batting well over 300 his last 32 games now. And he's got another base hit. A multi-hit effort for Jose Ramirez.
Well, Jose's going to get his 2nd hit of the ball game. He got a fastball out over the plate, and he likes that ball down there and does some damage with it. Keep your eye on him. Don't be surprised if he takes off again. Has 1 stolen base, did it back in the 2nd inning. Off Stroman, picked the right pitch. It was a breaking ball down in the backhanded. They couldn't even make a throw.
Matt, Arch, about a month and a half ago, Jim Rosenhaus from the Indians radio network and I were talking to Francisco Lindor, and he said, our offense is going to take off, don't worry. And Rosie said, well, how do you know? And he goes, because Hosey's going to start hitting and he's going to carry us. So today I went up to Hosey and I explained that conversation and said, you know, Frankie said that you guys were going to take off and you were going to carry us. And he looked at me and smiled and he goes, smart guy, and walked away.
I don't think you could have told a better story to illustrate just who Jose is and what makes him tick, man.
Well, there's a pretty good look of it right now, but we know he can get hot for months at a time. Right now, it's been 34 games, and I hope it continues the rest of the year. If it does, good things are going to happen.
Ripped down the right field line. That's a fair ball. And Ramirez is off to the races.
No, that's going to hurt him.
Fan grabbed it, huh?
Yeah, he touched it as it went by, and it's going to stop. I think Ramirez would have scored.
Well, they were going to wave him for sure.
Yeah, I'm telling you that he would have scored, but that fan reaches out over in play and hits that ball with his glove. Umpire caught it immediately. It was the right call. It was a hanging breaking ball. But watch him reach out. He's leaning out over play. If that ball, you know, that might have even went into the seat. I don't know. Here, that might have went into the seats. If he doesn't, if it stays down there and gets into that line, Ramirez scores. So now they're going to bring infield in again. Oh, and I think they want to talk about it. Did maybe Tito ask him that? Do you think he would have scored?
Yeah, because it's not a ground rule double. That's a fan interference, and that's a umpire's discretion.
Yes, we'll see. I haven't. You know, it's hard to see if that ball would have stayed into that corner or it would have got in. But it looked like from that angle maybe into the seats. But he did reach out over. And, you know, I haven't seen a lot of times when this happens. I can rarely recall they say, yeah, he would have scored. But they got to meet about it and they got to talk about it. And we'll see. If it works, it's great. If not, there's still only one out and they'll have a chance to add on.
Looks like they're going to get a crew chief review on this.
Okay, they'll get a look at it. Well, that's good. They've talked about it. Because no team has a challenge left. It really is. It would be hard to tell, I think, if that ball would have went in the seats or stayed, you know, in play after it got by that guy that touched it. So they'll take a look at it.
Yeah, this is a tough one, I think, Rick, because they made the call before. I mean, they actually threw their hands up before Hosey hit second base. So I don't know how they could you know, look at that and say, well,
he would have scored.
He would have scored.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know it's going to be a very tough call to get him into home plate, but I know they would have sent him.
Yeah, but he was a good two steps from the base when the
first base umpire DJ Rayburn, as soon as that kid hit it, put it in like, you know, interference. Okay, this is it. There it goes off that guy.
Oh, so he's still.
You're right. He's not at
well
second
short
base.
Of the
base. But still, where the right fielder was too. Look at, he had to run down there to get in there. He is just picking the ball up, and Jose's slowing down. So.
So no change. They're going to keep him at second and third. But I mean, I like what Tito's. I mean, Mike Barnett. The thinking is there. If you look at the way the play developed, the fan just kind of ticked it. So it was going to go down another way. He didn't change the direction of the ball. Maybe slowed it down a little bit. And so they're looking at it like, hey, we were going to send him, but infield in, one out. And Jordan Luplow, who had a good at-bat his last time up, lined out to right field. He's looking to do the same thing here. At least get that run home from third. That infield in. Base hit scores you a couple maybe.
Oh, yes.
This is going to work out well. Ramirez will score. Luplow on the check swing gets an RBI ground out. 3-0 Indians, and there are 2 down in the inning.
Excuse me. Didn't mean to swing it, but ends up getting the run home. I mean, that's well done. Get him home. Didn't want to do it, but he did, so that'll be a 1-3 and give him an RBI.
Number 28 for Luplow. And the 14th run batted in his last 29 games. Here's Greg Allen having a good night, 2 for 3 with 2 singles and a run scored. Infield back, normal depth. And a fastball strike outside corner from Wilmer Font. Boy, this has been nice. The Indians able to tack on a run in the 8th and here in the 9th off the Toronto bullpen.
Well, it was the same score as it was last night through 7. So they didn't want anything to happen and let this one get away.
You know, this is one of those scenarios we've talked about before where you look at a bullpen and you tell me how good your bullpen is. Sometimes it's not just how they close out games, but when it's a one-run game and your bullpen gives up a run, then another run, then all of a sudden that went from a very winnable game to one that kind of just got away from you late.
Yes, it did. I mean, it was it's a little more demoralizing, especially the way Bieber's throwing the baseball, because he's going to go back out there for the ninth. He's only given up one hit on the night. He has 9 punch outs.
Down low. Swing.
Got a piece of
a foul tip. Got a piece indeed.
He's asking Jansen where he got hit. He said, yeah, the wrist. Yeah.
Fouled back. Now Greg Allen, not surprisingly, putting up a good at bat here. He's been swinging it well. And the 2-2. Lined into center field, a base hit. Greg Allen delivers the 2-out RBI hit, and it's 4-0 Cleveland as Greg has his 3rd hit of the night.
Boy, oh boy, that's he's had a great night.
That pitch was up.
Yes, it was. And he just didn't hit it all that hard, but hit it hard enough to get it into the outfield. And they put another run on. It's now a 4-0 game.
Greg Allen is just one of those guys that's so easy to root for. You know, the way he carries himself, the way he plays the game, with the intensity, the energy he brings. Now hitting 7 straight games with 9 hits in his last 18 at-bats.
Yeah, he's feeling very good about himself in the batter's box.
Now the 0-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out, inning over. Indians tack on 2. And we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. 4-0 Cleveland. Play of the game, it was 1-0 in the 8th when Francisco Lindor got a 1-out double and then alertly swiped third base. And that allowed Oscar Mercado to just get a ball in the air to the outfield and drive home Lindor from third to extend the Indians' lead to 2-0. And the way Shane Bieber has pitched tonight, 2 runs looks like 20 to Tampa or to Toronto.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. He really has. Just the 1 base hit. It led off the 7th inning. He ended up getting out of that inning. And now he's got a little breathing room, but he doesn't want to let up off the gas because he has been throwing a ton of strikes.
Brandon Drury leads off. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Shane Bieber trying to do something that it's not as rare as a no-hitter, but doesn't happen very often. A 1-hit Complete game shutout is what he's shooting for now. That ball's drilled to deep center. Back goes Mercado, one away.
Got a man there.
The last time the Indians had a one-hit complete game shutout, Carlos Carrasco, back in September of 2015 against Kansas City when he struck out 15 Royals. Eric Sogard has the only hit of this game for Toronto. It came leading off the 7th inning when he doubled to right field. And at that point, it was a 1-0 game. Sogard got to third base, but Bieber stranded him there when he struck out Justin Smoak to end that inning.
Indians trying to go 6-1 against the Blue Jays this year.
What a
Nice
play
pick.
at first by Jake Bowers. Lindor went into a deep crouch after he let that ball go, and now he salutes his first baseman for bailing him out 2 away.
Yeah, these guys rarely make a bad throw to first base. So when they do, it's great when you can do this. Pick it and help them out. Bowers did just that. I mean, day in and day out, they are so accurate. They're on the money almost 99% of the time. So when they make a short hop, pick it, please.
Yeah, Jake's a really good defensive first baseman, especially when you consider he doesn't play there that often.
I know.
But when he does, he just jumps in there and makes every play.
He looks natural over there.
He really does.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
He looks comfortable. He's not an outfielder. He's learning it on the fly. Better first baseman.
Popped out of play.
.66% strikes for Shane Bieber tonight.
Seems higher than that, doesn't it?
It was at one point. There you'll see. The biggest inning was that 7th inning, 18 pitches. That is efficiency.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out to end the ball game.
Great way to end it.
Shane Bieber strikes out 10 and throws a complete game one-hit shutout as the Indians take the series, and they go 6-1 on the year against Toronto. Indians have now won 15 of their last 19 games as they go to 59-42 on the season. Shane Bieber is 10-3. The loss will go to Marcus Stroman, who gave up 1 run, but he's now 6-11 on the year as Toronto falls to 39-65 on the year. Wow, what a performance by Bieber here tonight. You feel like just when he can't possibly pitch any better than he has, he takes it up another notch.
Well, but think about it. How did Bauer do last night? 7 2/3 didn't allow, only a few hits. And he pitched great. The bullpen gave it up, but he comes back out here the very next night and throws a gem. And, I mean, he was just on point with everything. The curveball, the little slider, the changeup, the fastball, the first pitch strikes. There's not a thing he didn't execute tonight. He just mowed through that lineup and made it look easy, and, I mean, stayed, for the most part, out of the middle of the plate. The only hit he allowed, it was a ball down and in, a breaking ball, and you got to give Sogard credit for getting that base hit.
Yeah.
Boy, what a game it was. Second complete game shutout for Bieber this year.
So the Indians will move on to Kansas City for a 4-game series starting tomorrow night, as Shane Bieber sends them on their way with a series win. Time now for Indians Live postgame with Al and Jensen. And you're going to hear from Shane Bieber coming up on Indians Live, so keep it tuned right here for that. Wow, what a job by Shane Bieber. I'm sure you can expand more on what he did and why he was so effective here tonight.